Good morning. My name is Craig Canning. I am the CEO of Crystal Creek Organics. We sustainably turn manure into money for dairy farms. In 2017, dairy contributed almost $3 billion to the New York State economy and counted for nearly 26,000 jobs throughout the state. That being said, the dairy industry is in the midst of some challenging times. Rising costs and potential environmental issues are putting tremendous downward pressure on this vital industry. Now let's talk about the not so pleasant byproduct of the dairy industry, manure. On average, a 400-cow dairy farm creates over 4 million gallons of manure per year. This manure is laden with phosphorus, which is closely regulated by the state. There is significant expense to the farm to manage this manure. The state restricts both how much they can spread per acre per year and when they can apply it due to phosphorus overloading. So they in turn have to have lagoons to hold it and lease additional acreage, sometimes at significant distances away from their base of operations, to spread this manure. This also requires additional equipment, increased fuel costs, and more traffic on the roads getting to these fields, which for a large dairy can add up to hundreds of thousands of dollars in expenses per year. This is also a lead limiting factor to a dairy farmer having the ability to increase the size of their herd and grow their business. To make matters worse, the soluble phosphorus in the manure creates a negative environmental impact downstream, leading to harmful algal blooms in New York's waterways. Let's talk about what we bring to the table. By processing the manure through a Crystal Creek system, dairy farmers can reduce their manure management costs by over 50%, thereby substantially increasing their profits. The average 400-cow dairy farm can save $100,000 annually. Furthermore, our system's cost is self-regulating. By charging per gallon for manure process, the cost to the farmer is always proportionate to their herd size. Our system is a portable trailer-mounted unit that separates the manure into two parts. The first is a phosphorus-free liquid that the farmer can in turn spread anywhere with little to no restrictions. And the second part is a solid that contains the phosphorus as well as all of the organic matter from the manure. This solid byproduct will be sold as a sustainable ingredient to companies that manufacture soils. Last fall, we processed over 400,000 gallons through our unit with AgriOne Services, a third-party lab validating that our liquid is 99.9% phosphorus-free. In our business model, we have two revenue streams. First, the per-gallon processing fee, as we retain ownership of the equipment, which eliminates the financial burden of the farmer having to purchase an expensive system, and we will have multi-year contracts with them. Secondly, we sell the solid byproduct as a sustainable ingredient to our strategic partners in soil manufacturing. We will be replacing non-sustainable diminishing resource ingredients such as peat moss that has to be trucked in from Canada. Our trucking costs will be minimal because we are produced locally. We currently have letters of interest from two local manufacturers, Finger Lakes Mulch in Manchester and Dickman Farms in Auburn. Our company is innovative in three ways: patents, business model, and environmental impact. First, we have two patents, one in phosphorus removal and one in material separation. Second, unlike our competitors, we charge per gallon instead of making the farmer purchase an expensive system up front, which creates recurring revenues for Crystal Creek. And third, based on our test reports, we remove more phosphorus in the watershed at a lower cost than any other system out there. We are targeting farms with over 400 cows. In the Grow New York territory, which is 22 counties, there are 180 over 400 cow farms. Our projected 3-year market share is 13%. In all of New York State, the number of over 400 cow farms jumps to 300, and nationally, that number climbs to over 4,000. There is significant opportunity to scale up and scale out. Dairy farming in upstate New York is built on relationships. We will start our marketing in Cayuga County, where we worked with both Spruce Haven and Twin Birch in 2019. And from there, we'll be branching out to surrounding counties. Our sales team will approach the potential new customers directly by leveraging introductions from existing farm customers, using our existing operating units as a marketing tool, and working through local farm organizations. In regards to our competition, we have the lowest cost system on the market, save the farmer the greatest total expense, on average $250 per cow annually, remove the highest amount of soluble phosphorus, and in the end create a saleable product. Our management team is formidable. Of note on the sales side is Murray Wingate, who has over 30 years of sales experience in these markets. Also, we're really excited about our latest hire within the last month, Brent Bolton, who was the former director of operations for Scott's Miracle-Gro. Scott's is the largest manufacturer of soils in the country. Our team has an in-depth background in every aspect of our business and combined have close to 200 years of industry experience. On our board of advisors, I'd like to mention Doug Young from Spruce Haven. We ran our demo unit at his farm in 2019, and Doug is well respected in the dairy industry. As you can see, our list of regional partners is quite extensive. Our first operational system is located at Spruce Haven Farms in Union Springs. Our equipment will be manufactured locally at Optimation in Rochester, and we have letters of interest from both Finger Lakes Mulch in Manchester and Dickman Farms in Auburn to purchase our solid byproduct as an ingredient in their manufactured soils. Our financials. In year one, we will be operating 4 units and we'll be running close to break even. On out to year 3, where we will have 24 units in operation with total revenues exceeding $3.4 million and an EBITDA of almost $1 million. Our economic impact in jobs. In year 1, including both direct and jobs at our suppliers and partners, we will be creating 12 high-quality jobs in manufacturing, logistics, and operations. As we progress out to year 3, we will be creating over 27 of these high-quality jobs in the region while strengthening our dairy farms, thus helping to preserve countless current jobs in both agricultural sector and dairy food production industries. Our economic impact goes beyond just jobs, though. By removing tons of soluble phosphorus, which is the leading cause of toxic harmful algal blooms, we will also have a significant positive economic impact on our lakefront property values and tourism. In addition, there is a big potential opportunity in the future. There may be additional value created with water quality trading credits, which has already begun in states such as Pennsylvania and Wisconsin, where they are currently paying $50 per pound of phosphorus removed. We are well on our way to success. In the summer of 2019, we were awarded a $596,000 NYSERDA grant. In the fall of 2019, we built and tested our full-scale demo unit, and this fall we're developing our soil amendment products. This winter, we will begin to develop our commercial unit and conduct investor presentations, and next spring we will build and deploy our first commercial unit. Our use of funds is very simple. This will allow us to accelerate our business plan a year or more to build and deploy units on Cayuga County dairy farms that we already have relationships with. With $250,000, we can do 1 farm. With $500,000, we can do 2 farms. And with the $1 million first prize, we can have 4 farms operational, which allows us to meet our first year sales forecast while removing over 30 tons of harmful phosphorus from New York's waterways. These winnings will allow us to accelerate a team and technology that is ready to scale. In summary, we have a proven and tested technology that is ready to scale, as well as validated savings to the farmer. We are the only nutrient management company that removes soluble phosphorus and produces a saleable product. We have the ability to produce over 27 high-quality jobs in 3 years, as well as helping to preserve numerous other jobs in the agricultural sector, and our team has extensive experience in every aspect of our business. Thank you.
Great job, Crystal Creek. Great job, Craig and Bill. So over to our judges for 10 minutes of Q&A. First up, we have questions from Mary Shellman.
Hey, Craig and Bill, thanks for that great presentation. I think that I'm really excited about this. And I know this isn't a time for feedback, but I want to tell you about one of the things that makes me so excited about what you're doing is the fact that it's actually a mobile unit. And, you know, so much of technology is built to go after really big customers and really big farms. And I see this huge opportunity here that you could actually service a group of smaller customers and make something available to them that they could never get before. So I just don't lose sight of that as you're going forward. But I want to ask you a question, though, more specifically. You talk about, so you do this great service, you get money for that, or revenue for that, that's a plan. But how important is it to have a market for the byproducts? How much of it is the farmer likely to use, and how much of it are you actually going to have to go out and create customers for on that other side?
You know, very good question. The simple answer is we get half our revenue from the processing fees and half from the soil amendment product.
Okay.
Going back to your question last year, you asked LWR about the business model. The business model in this industry, or whatever you want to call it, nutrient management, requires another source of revenue. And that's why our sales team is so important, that 3 of them have experience in selling soil amendment feedstock. And I use that term as a category, not as a product, because there's a bunch of different products that we'll be feeding into. And each one of our unit will generate between 1 and 2 million pounds of solid material. So you got to move a lot of stuff. Okay. I'll let you put the word there. And we have a team that's capable of doing that.
So what happens if the farmer decides they want to use some of it? Do you charge them for it, or is it basically their free product at that point?
We will have these multi-year contracts that will be farm specific. So the answer is we'll negotiate that, because they have a lot of resources that they can also provide. For example, we might want to truck some of this someplace, and they've got silage trucks sitting around 11 months of the year that are doing nothing. So there's a very good chance, as we expect, that some of this stuff will be left on site. All of our finances are based on a 40-hour work week. So the farmer might say, well, look, you run for 40 hours and my guy will, or lady will take over and run for an additional 10 hours. So the model is very flexible as well, because it's on a farm, right? Farms are more creative than almost any life form out there on the planet.
Super, thanks a lot.
Great questions, Mary. Over to you, Laura, for another round of questioning.
Hi, well, I'm the farmer on the panel, but I'm not a dairy farmer, but we do have hogs, so we deal with manure, and we're also organic, so we use that manure for fertilizer. So I have a couple of questions. Number one, you said there's a liquid that comes out, and then the solids. The solids are where the phosphorus is. What's in the liquid? If the phosphorus is gone, there's got to be something else in there. What's in that?
It still has some nitrogen and potassium in it, as well as a lot of micronutrients, but you know, our patent removes all the phosphorus, because that's been one of the 3 primary drivers of harmful algal blooms. So it's a win-win. So a substantial amount of the other, compounds are still in the water. We call it tea water. And so it can be spread with far less restrictions, because a lot of the dairy farms are restricted based on its phosphorus content.
Right. So that could be used as a nitrogen source, say, for somebody who was growing organic crops.
Correct. One of the limits of at a dairy farms is they want nitrogen, but they're phosphorus controlled.
It's too high.
So they can't. Right. Yeah. But now you can, we're going to be actually meeting in the next couple of weeks with nutrient management consultants. There's a group that does west of the Genesee and east of the Genesee, because we want to explore that a little further. We really don't have as much good information as we'd like.
So, and just to interject there real quick, just one quick thing, that phosphorus-free liquid can be used for irrigation and fertigation also.
Right. So you could run it through your irrigation pump as opposed to having to spread it with a spreader. Do you have a minimum, like a minimum sized farm that you could go to and get set up, or does it matter what size farms they are?
Well, so ours is sized for 400 cows. It's 40 gallons a minute. Cow does 10,000 gallons, kind of simple math. But Mary brought up an excellent point, and it's part of our value proposition. This is relocatable. So we could do a number of small farms, and Cayuga County just passed some tighter regulations that will be imposed on smaller farms. So the county legislator that toured the site 2 months ago is very excited because we could move it. Now, we're not talking about moving it per week. It might be, let's call it 3 farms in a year. So you go over and do a few months, and they all have storage lagoons. So it's not like you have to process today's manure today.
Right, right. Well, I have more questions I could ask, but I'm going to let the next person on the panel go ahead there. Thank you.
Thanks, Laura. Over to you, Zoe.
Hi, Bill. Hi, Craig.
Hi there.
Hi. Thank you for joining us today. This is super interesting. I admittedly am not a, nutrient expert or soil expert by any stretch of the imagination, but I do work for Chobani, and as you know, we do purchase a lot of dairy in the New York region. So my question for you is, when I think about our internal business, environmental sustainability is such a big focus. What's sort of your pitch around Crystal Creek to, a Land O'Lakes or a Chobani, another consumer packaged goods business that works exclusively in the manufacturing of products that use, byproducts of dairy cows?
Well, the dairy industry could expand without almost decreasing their environmental footprint, phosphorus being a big one. But a lot of what we're going to be taking off the farm is their surplus nutrients that are generated in the winter when there's no value. Now, Doug Young, who Craig mentioned, this guy is probably the smartest guy I've ever met, or one of the smartest. So he says, I can store some of this stuff in the bunker after I remove silage, kind of a replace kind of thing. So he actually can now take his winter manure and save it and replace some of his fertilizer in the summer. So it will improve his sustainability, if that's your question.
Yeah, I'm just curious about that. But I also thought, you're going to be selling this directly to the dairy farmers, and, they obviously have a whole network of, folks that they sell to as suppliers. So I was wondering if you'd thought about how you would approach, most food manufacturers like Chobani, and say, hey, we'd like to partner with you and work with your dairy farms that you contract with.
We'd love to. We started very simple. We're building this relationship. It was interesting. Mr. Keenan from Nordatech talked about, the farmers only buy from people they bought from before. This is to say it's a network trust base is an understatement. So we are working very carefully, spending a lot of time observing, listening, working with the farmers in Cayuga County, and then we'll expand out. So if there's thoughts you have of helping us, we'd love to talk to you.
Thanks,
Great,
Zoe.
thank you.
So we have a quick audience question with just a few seconds remaining. I think the general gist is, do you see this technology as a bit of a platform technology, and could it be applied to other things like, say, municipal waste, municipal sewage?
I don't think so. We're focused on dairy manure. Other things such as poultry litter are too dry. Swine manure has a higher solids content. So we really just want to be number one in dairy manure, to be honest with you. And dairy manure has a high concentration, low volume, where wastewater treatment is very high volume. So there's a big difference in the two industries.
Great. Thanks so much, Crystal Creek. Good job. Thank you, judges.